Hello, hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. We're like, okay, so I still want to get the gym up and running, right? But Asterion only has like 2 tech, right? Is that? He has 1 tech, fuck. And I still need the raw material, right? Okay, and he's only collected 3 raw materials so far, so we still need 12 more. So I'm thinking once we get that, we then hop him over to here, right? But he didn't get any raw material last time, and I'm like, fucking Luke, come on. We gotta do things, and we're still gonna hang out with Kota, since he's apparently the only one with a thing? That's what it said at the beginning. I've been told there is a thing with Asterion, and I assume that's this. But, you know, we've started our social link. Now, once more, you head down to the lounge in search of Kota. The itch of curiosity prickle at the back of your mind, and it's become harder to resist scratching. Judging by your last few conversations with the dragon went, however, you will need to be discreet with your inquiries. He seems to be more comfortable with talking about other people and places than about himself. Perhaps you could learn a little more about the vagrant dragon that way. Fine. I mean, I wanted to do the direct approach, but then again, like, I don't like when people ask me things directly, so it is what it is. When you cast your gaze towards the hearth, however, you find Kota's customary armchair empty. Oh, new background. Or I guess, is this just another angle? Is this like... Okay. Okay. A little asking around leads you to a small room out of the way, and what was probably the old staff break room. Oh, okay, so this is just a new area. Okay, we got there. Humming like the pine cricket, coming back to the autumn he knew. Kota! Oh! A little flustered, Kota puts his phone down and looks up to you. He has a phone? Was that ever said before? Okay.
Hello, Mr. Josh. Forgive me, I was distracted with the TikToks.
You almost ask. Instead, you offer him a smile and a shake of your hand. Head. Yes. No, it's fine. I just wanted to hang out for a little while. If you're busy, I can come back some other time.
Nonsense. Please, have a seat.
As before, he gestured. As before, you accept. Okay. I thought I was going insane for a moment. You take the seat across the table from the dragon, giving him a nod of gratitude.
So, what will it be today? I apologize that we got cut off last time. If you'd like, I can continue where we left off.
Actually, I have something a little different in mind. We have a lot of different guests from a lot of different places coming in, and you've been all over the world, so I was hoping you might have a little personal experience I could pick your brain on. Might help them to feel welcome and make their stay that much more enjoyable.
I see. And you do not wish to make them feel uncomfortable or cause offense by turning your inquiry into an interrogation of them,
I almost wince. The dragon's expression remains as placid as ever. Yeah. So, would you mind helping a guy out?
But of course, I'm happy to help with anything you may need.
Alright, in that case, I was hoping you could tell me about... This is your chance. If you can get him to open up about his travels, he might reveal a little more about more than he intends. You'll have to be careful, however, not to press him too hard. You rack your brain, thinking of all the guests who found shelter under the hotel's roof, and open your mouth to speak. That's it? That's all I got?
Oh, you wish to know more about where our bird brain friend comes from.
Well, yeah, I mean, you and him were the first ones we welcomed to the hotel, after all. And beyond that, he's been an excellent help with running the lounge.
Well, I suppose I can't argue with that.
So, if there's anything in particular you remember about going there, maybe we could put something together for him, show our appreciation. Yes.
I appreciate your intentions, but still think it would be better to ask him directly. However, I have no problem assisting you. The thing is, well, Texas is quite a large place. As large or larger than many whole countries, Japan included. I likely cannot speak about the specific area where Luke hails from.
How about broader strokes then? What did you think of the area while you were passing through?
Well, I was quite amazed, honestly.
This is a cute face. So I'll give Kota that.
As I said, it is quite large, with many different countries worth of geography all in one location. Snowy mountains, acrid deserts, rolling plains.
Does it have that? Maybe. When I went to Texas, it was so flat. It was so flat. And every time we boarded like a train to go somewhere, like, I would just comment on how flat it was. And my sister-in-law was just constantly like, don't make fun of my hometown like this. Yeah, okay. And then she moved here, where I live. And it's like, now she's like, I see what you mean. Because all we have is like mountains and hills and things here, like.
Oh, and the rivers. Did you know in quite a few areas that people spend all the hottest days of summer swimming in, what was the word? Tubbing down the rivers.
Is it tubing or tubbing? Why is this a question? I mean, like, I get it. Yeah, I did know that. It sounds pretty fun to me. Just floating down the river, not a care in the world. Do you think Luke would appreciate us setting up something like that for him? His brow furrows.
Well, we would need a river first, and digging one ourselves would likely be out of the question, for starters. Where would we get the water? Although, considering that this realm is entirely at your beck and call, that may not be such a difficult endeavor.
A thoughtful hum vibrates in your throat. Would you like a river here? Would you like a river here? You really seem to like them. Especially when they are being used by humans. Might make things a little better. Might make things a little bit more like home for you.
Well, I won't dispute that. But here I thought we were trying to make Luke feel at home, not me.
Well, nothing says we can't kill two birds with one stone. We can keep brainstorming on it, maybe. See what's feasible. Anyway, I guess you did a lot of, tubing, huh?
It was a very pleasant way to travel for me. Much better than walking or heavens forfend? Traveling by car. But it is, unfortunate, not possible to do for too long. Either the local government forbid it in certain areas, or the river isn't safe to travel, or pollution and runoff have poisoned the waters. Forgive me for sounding like a curmudgeon, but it really was a lot simpler back in the day.
I can imagine. And you're not really a car person, huh?
Again, don't misunderstand. They are useful, like many modern advancements. And I won't deny, they can be a convenience when one must travel long distances in a short time. But I'll take my own 2 feet, or an inner tube, any day. In any case, I think we're wandering away from the topic at hand. Let's see what else.
He hems, he haws. He runs his claws through his beard. At last, he shrugs.
I'm afraid there's not much more I could say. In truth, I was merely passing through on my way to an actual lead in my search.
What was that lead? An actual lead? What was that?
Oh, well, it doesn't matter now. It was a wash in the end. Although, now we're straying from the purpose of this exercise, don't you think?
Right, sorry, just got curious.
So, yes, that's pretty much all I can tell you about my time in Texas. Do excuse me if I wasn't as informative as you were hoping.
No, it's fine. Sparked at least a couple of ideas for things to do for Luke. Maybe we could think something up for someone else.
Perhaps. We will not know until we try. So then, what? Forgive me. Where else were you curious about?
Nah, I can't think of anything. I'm I'm a dummy. And we don't have any other people here. I assume we'll get other workers, like hotel staff, I guess. When do we get a Storm? You know. Your lips press together and your brow furrows. Nothing else comes, and with a suppressed sigh, you realize that nothing has been gained from this exercise.
Well then, do you think this is enough?
You force the corners of your mouth into a smile and give him a nod. Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Kota. Despite your best attempts, it's difficult to fully keep the disappointment out of your voice. The dragon, however, seems not to take any notice. He gives you a gracious nod of his own, and then begins to shift in his seat, making to get up.
I am, as always, happy to help. Now then, I had a few matters to attend to before returning to work, if you'll excuse me.
Oh, of course. I guess I'll see you later then. With a chuckle and a brief grunt, the dragon holds himself to his feet. He takes a moment to smooth down his clothes and tuck his phone away. Afterwards, around the edges of the table, he his way to the door, giving you a pat on the shoulder as he passes. You turn to watch him, waiting until he has swept through the doorway before allowing your expression to fall. That could have gone a lot better. Whoops. You can't be sure, but there were moments when you were speaking that Kota seems to catch on to what you were attempting. Trying to be clever with the dragon may be the wrong way to go about things. As you gather yourself, rising from your seat and stretching, thoughts of how to proceed flitter through your mind. Would the direct approach be better after all? Should you step back and let the dragon be for a while? At last, you sigh. You decide on how to approach Kota later. For now, there's still work to do before the day is done. Made some progress. Yay! 3 are almost left, so 9 left. Other than that, your exploration team did not make any big discoveries. Cool. Ah, please don't fall, mouse. Well past midnight, life rages on in the realm of the labyrinth. The dragon from the east proceeded with his investigation, asking the guests about travelers such as himself. When the inevitable answer comes, however, not a pang of sorrow touches his heart. Had the search itself become pleasant enough after many years? Oh, okay. And the American Griffin, once so eager to partake in regretful escapades, couldn't resist the allure of the stars. 1 star at a time, he grasps the colossal universe in the palm of his hand. That's cute. Meanwhile, the kobolds, given give into the peace of the mind-healing slumber of a home found after who knows how long, to the bone-chilling underground. As for our good lords, Pricestang, Horned Asterion, and Diamond granted Mr. Josh, tonight they deliver themselves to smaller pleasures. A fine wine summoned and enjoyed, dedicate poems written and recited, and all of mankind's comforting inventions at their fingertips. And as the pair watch a movie side by side on the leather sofa, those fingers do fidget. One's clumsy digits, tense arms, even their stirring legs. Doesn't a man's body all feel inadequate in the presence of someone who awakens once cold embers? Well into the night, by happenstance, your fingertips graze at each other, and hearts both skip a beat. But nothing is said. Silence, and the choice to believe it mere chance is made sweeter from the hummingbirds fluttering behind one's head for a drink. Okay. Okay. Did I get any... I think that's a little further along. Okay. Yeah. Another day, another break from work, another jaunt downstairs in search of a certain dragon. Again, you find his usual spot by the hearth empty, and you poke your head into the employee break room. And again, you find Coda sitting by himself, but today his hands are folded on the table before him, and his face is placidly smiling mask. If you don't know any better, you'd say he was waiting for you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Josh. I presume you wish to visit me for a while again today.
I was hoping to, yes.
Well, here I am. Come, sit.
You take his invitation, once again sitting across from the dragon. He remains as still as a statue, no movement, not even the flicker of an eyebrow or the tapping of a claw against the tabletop.
So then, what shall the topic be today, Is there anything in particular that is on your mind?
There it is again, the slightest hint, knowing that you know what he knows. Even if it is imagined, it prickles at you, at your mind, at your conscience. Actually, there is one thing. I wanted to apologize to you. His expression doesn't change at all.
No? For what?
Well, since we started talking, I may have been prying a little more into your business than I should have been. I wanted to know more about you, but it's possible I let my curiosity get the better of me, and I may have gotten carried away with trying to figure you out. It's quick, almost too much so, to be seen, but one corner of Koda's mouth perks up for just a moment. His nostrils flare with a puff of breath. Then he glances away and lets out a chest-vibrating rumble.
I suppose complaining would make me a hypocrite, considering my prying into yours and Asterion's personal matters.
Two wrongs don't make a right, and it was still wrong of me.
That I will concede. Still, you forgave me for my trespass, and now I will forgive you for yours. So, let us call it water under the bridge, all right?
All right. At long last, the two of you share a brief and easy smile across the table.
Now then, let us be frank with one another. You are curious about my past, and wish to know more about what led to my current circumstance.
Yes, and you want to keep all of that private.
Well, that's not entirely true. But I am old, Mr. Josh, and very tired. After all these years, it doesn't come easily to me to...
The weeds grow so thick, you can't even see the path that leads to my house. It happens while I waited for someone who would not come.
How about this? I'm sure you've been able to piece together a good amount from what I've told you, whether intentionally or otherwise. So it is time. Why don't you tell me a story? Tell me the narrative you've managed to construct, and I'll fill in what details you've missed. Please indulge me, if only for the time being.
A tiny hint of desperation slips into his voice. It sounds wrong coming from the placid, well-mannered dragon, and yet, it is all the most earnest for it. All right. You close your eyes for a moment, gathering your thoughts. Kota gives you all the time he believes you may need. When you're ready, you look over to meet the dragon's gaze and begin. You started your travel when you left Japan around a century and a half ago. You traveled to America first, and I guess you proceeded from there. Kota doesn't speak up to correct you, and so you continue. And this time, you've been searching for onsen. I presume something happened between the two of you, and he left Japan. He glanced away, but still doesn't interrupt you. Whatever the case, over the years you've been seeking out leads that might help you find him. And to do that, you sought the most likely candidates who'd know about other dragons. For example, the clan of kobolds you helped out. The dragon nods and remains silent. So years and years pass. You travel all over the globe and finally end up here. You said it yourself. A place for wanderers to gather would be the best location to find what you're looking for. Who you're looking for? Were you really just brothers? Kota flinches. His eyes widen just a fraction. The clock on the wall ticks once, twice, thrice.
What do you mean by that?
He yearns even more. Pine crickets sing of lost friends. 'Tis no denial. Well, with the way you talk about him, I don't mean to imply anything untowards, but, well, I can't help but feel like...
Well, what I can say is that things between Onsen and I were perhaps a little complicated. More complicated than mortals, than humans may understand. There are many things about myself which I've had to keep under wraps for a long, long while, I suppose. In addition to wandering, I've grown used to...
keeping up appearances. Being, circumspect? Okay.
Yes, that.
Well, I'm not going to say that you have to spill your guts out. It's your business, after all. If you want to talk about it, then I'm here for you. I'm sure Asterion, Luke, and everyone else would say the same. And if there's anything we or the hotel can do to help you find onsen, all you need to do is ask, okay? He taps a claw on the table, humming as he furrows his brow in thought.
Mr. Josh, indulge my curiosity if you would. If I did so happen to nurture an affection for Onsen, what exactly would you have to say about it?
Fuck it. I don't like it, but it's none of my business. I'm not going to lie to you, Kota. I really don't like the thought, but then again, I guess it's none of my business. You said it's complicated, and I'll take your word on that. He nods, as though he expected such an answer.
Very reasonable of you. I don't believe many would be as understanding as that. I suppose, then, it's a good thing we're only speaking in a hypothetical.
Yeah. There's still a lingering stiffness to his smile, a tension in his throat, an anxious energy in the tapping of his claws. You politely ignore it. I've swept in sorrow, longing for him to come back. But how can I live in this world still now deceived by vain hopes of his return? You let your gaze wander away from the dragon, giving him space and a moment to collect himself. When he clears his throat again, soft and polite to get your attention, you turn back to see a different Kota before you. Shamefaced and earnest.
I will need to think over what we've discussed. Please forgive me, but it is a lot, and it is difficult both for me to get it all together and to talk about.
That's perfectly fine. Whenever you're ready, just let me know.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Josh.
After that, your conversation drifts off to a pleasant small talk, and then, companionable silence. The time eventually comes to return to work, and you and Kota share a brief farewell. You can see all the thoughts in a tumult behind his eyes. Blah. We will need time to think, time to ruminate, time to reminisce, and to let centuries of reservation go. Okay. Luckily, here in the hotel, he has all the time he will ever need. Okay. 6 raw material. Okay, cool. Okay, so we only need 3 more, and then we can put Luke back on the tech team. That's fine. I'm gonna end the part here, okay? I'll see you around, everyone.